Hey, what's good, guys? My name's Chris.
And I'm Jody.
Welcome back to Wear Testers Unlaced. This is episode 8.
8.
In case you're unaware, this is our official or unofficial Wear Testers podcast. It's loosely based around sneakers, but we talk about all kinds of things, which you will find out soon enough. Typically, what we will do is start off with some sneaker news, and we'll normally pull those from different areas, like Sneaker News, their Instagram. Actually, I forgot to check Z Sneakerheads to see if there's any cool leaks. Because Sneaker News today, or at least this week, has been, I think, pretty lackluster.
Do you think it's because they just did, Jordan Brand just did their holiday launch, and so there's nothing really to talk about until they actually start?
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. We can go over it quickly, I guess, as the Kobe Halo series is continuing. There's going to be the 9 Elite and the 9 EM, which is the low top. There is a low top Elite as well, but that's not part of the thing. You think they can hear? We open up the door to let some air in.
So we can get a breeze.
Yeah, so if you can hear any leaves or
We're giving
whatever.
you some fall background.
Some ASMR, sneaker style. But so we've got these two. Clearly they're just simple, all white shoes.
Is that, I thought maybe the halo meant that was the colorway term.
No, because you know how they did the 8 halos?
No.
We reviewed them.
Oh. I don't remember the term halo
They're
being
literally
used.
back there. That's because I got them early. And the Kobe 8 Pro Tro's up there. You don't even know where you're looking.
Okay.
Jeez. They're on top of the stack. They're right there.
So they're white, so you could see why I would think that they're...
Did you not look at this picture?
I know. So I was asking, it's the term halo, the color...
Well, yes. So Vanessa wanted...
Everything to be black and white for Gigi.
There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes a lot of people don't know, you know what I mean? So she wanted only Gigi colorways and Halo colorways as far as what I was told. And Nike was just kind of we can't do that. We got
a business to run.
Right. We got a brand to continue on with. So there will be other colorways and things like that, but essentially the 9 and 9 EM, which is the low, it was originally the cheaper version of the Pro Tros, have been kind of leaked or whatever. They're very simple. They're just straight up white on white for the lows and then white and black for the highs. I do think they should have put the black TPU panels on the lows as well. I think that it would have looked good. The difference between the high and the low is that the high used carbon fiber, the lows used a TPU or a P-Bax. So other than that though, they're all white. I think they're cool. They're clean. Hopefully they're attainable. I think that's the main thing is are they attainable? So is there a reason to really get excited?
Can we be clear for me though? Is Halo
They're
the
just
colorway?
The all white ones are going to be called Halo.
Okay.
It's so simple.
That's all I want.
I didn't know that you needed. I didn't know that you needed that explanation.
That's all I want.
That's so weird. I guess we could talk about these boo-boo ass joints right here. If they didn't already, really? You don't even like fives, and that's the one that you like? That really? Are you being for real?
It's fall.
No.
Fall is in the air.
These need to fall off the truck. These are awful. Look.
They'd go great with some jeans and a flannel.
Yeah, but his name isn't Lumberjack
Long
Mike.
John.
It's fucking Jordan. You know what I mean? He's not out there with Paul Bunyan.
I saw a comment on one of our videos this morning. I don't remember which one it's for.
I like how we had no sneaker news and
We have
all of
so
a sudden
much
we
to
got
say.
so much to talk about.
But there was a guy who flat out said, I don't remember which Jordan shoe it was. It could have been the Royals.
Sorry, I'm going to take a drink because my throat got dry out of
It's
nowhere.
okay. We found out you do that in our last episode. There was a lot of you drinking water.
Because I was dying.
But anyway, somebody flat out said, man, at first I thought the sentence was going to say, I'm really beginning to hate Jordan Brand. But the guy flat out said, I'm really beginning to hate Michael Jordan. And I was just like, do you think Michael Jordan sat down and was put out these...
He did not.
And I was like, this was a weird comment.
I don't think that he even signs off on stuff anymore. His kids are working there, all 3 of them. In some capacity. He's out there just living his best life. You know what I mean? They got to fix the toe on these things. They're not 5s with that toe. It's
They're
just
very
not.
boot-like.
That's
and
what I
they're
was
that vibe.
That's what I was going to say. If you already thought that 5s look like boots, this one really highlights that.
I hope they come with extra red laces.
I mean, even if they don't, that's an easy fix. But the toe is so ugly, dude. That's not even, that's the thing where somebody there has to have eyes. And they have to see the products that they made originally because they're there. They're in the building. I've been there. I know that they're there. You have to see the new version and the original version and be like, they don't look the same. That's my only, like, I'm just like, guys, come on. Like, I don't care if you don't care about the brand. I don't care if you don't care about the products. I get it. You're just there for a job. But what the dude? Like, some people do care about this stuff. Like, say, I don't know, the customer. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's where I'm just kind of like, can you please fix the toe on these shoes? You practically are blind. So maybe that's why you don't notice.
I notice.
Do you notice?
I know the fives. I know the 5 toe for sure. That one's an easy one for me. I can call that one out from a mile away.
She's full of
I'm not.
Oh, she's with you hardcore.
No, I really do.
No.
He likes the ones where the toe rand comes up and over, not the...
It's not I like the ones. I like the 5s.
That's what
that
I'm
look
talking
right.
about.
Yeah. No, I'm just
I was
saying.
not saying the Jordan ones. I'm talking about the Jordan 5s. The ones where the
But that's what
comes
I'm
up and
saying.
over.
There should not be like, oh, he likes the... No, there is no liking the ones. It's like either they look like 5s or they don't look like 5s.
So.
They don't look like 5s right now. Now, before I went on that nice little rant there that came out of nowhere, because we didn't have that planned for sneaker news, but before that was going to happen, I was basically going to talk about that there was a post by Sneaker News on their Instagram page, kind of talking about how outrageous the price increase has been for the upcoming Air Jordan 17 Low. So like the original retail price was $150. So far it's rumored that the Retro that's supposed to be releasing in 2024 is going to be retailing for $300. That's literally double what it is. So basically, I've got these guys right here. This is an original pair of the Jordan 17 Lows, thanks to our Discord member and personal friend of mine, Raul. MJ is God. And basically this is, well, first off, they're taken apart and everything because they fell apart. But this is the Jordan 17 Low. And I'm just going to kind of explain why this is going to be so dang expensive later on and stuff. And a lot of people were saying, like, for that price they better come with the briefcase, and it's like, this is how they came in a face box. The extra accessory was this. If you thought that little baggie for the satin breads was small, this one's hecka small. There was some dude that was being a jerk, being like, you didn't even try to put the shoes in the bag. It's like, bro, I could see with my eyes that they're not going to fit.
Yes, they would have.
Only if you stacked them like this, but I'm not trying to do that. But that's how you'd have to do it with these, and even then, like, they'd be tight in there.
Those bags don't surprise me. That's what really nice purses come with. So
a bag comes with a bag?
Yeah.
For the bag?
For when you're like storing them in your closet. I have a couple of them. Yeah. Hey, you're the one who got me these fancy nice bags.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that just sounds weird. These are so heavy. Feel that.
We have a great promo coming.
Yeah. She was very abusive.
Imagine if that was what was coming at you.
No. All I can think of is the shipping price. Like if you were to buy these online, like that'd be insane. But anyways, this is the 17 original, also from MJ is God, our lovely Discord member. This is how they came. They came in a box, and then a box, and the box. What are you looking at it like that for? This was amazing.
Didn't you just show me a 17 and it didn't come in a box?
Yeah, that was the low.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that people were complaining, being like, they better come in the briefcase. And the briefcase was for the highs, not for the lows.
And what is coming in 2024? The highs or the lows?
The lows.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is how they came. But yeah, so basically, you don't want them to come in a briefcase. That'll be hella expensive, like hella more expensive than what they already are. Could you imagine?
No.
But basically, I just wanted to talk about like why this shoe is going to be so darn expensive to recreate and to build and everything like that. And it's basically, for what you can see, literally this is why. Like, I know that they don't look maybe impressive or anything like that from a manufacturing standpoint, but to put something like this together versus what they put together now, this is not a shots fired to New Balance. This is all sneakers right now. This is the whole industry. The running category to the basketball category to whatever. Like, this is how shoes are made. So we've got textile wrap. It's one piece. This whole thing's one piece. And then there's fuse overlays in the high wear stress zone areas. Those are heat welded on top. So basically this upper is flat on a table, and then they put those panels exactly where they're marked out to. They use a heat press. They stamp it down. It forms or bonds to the upper and everything. They take that upper back. This particular shoe has 2 stitch zones, or 3 stitch zones if you count the heel overlay or whatever, but really it's bonded right here at the split. Then they'll wrap it to where it meets there, and then they will sew it together, and then they have this panel right there that hides that sewing panel. So all of that is very little actual labor when we're talking about this. Like the way that this shoe is manufactured is much more affordable than this. This is why the industry moved towards textiles and fuses and TPUs, because it's cheaper. And it's all marketing. I understand, like it's like, oh yeah, they marketed it as this, and there are some facts to the marketing. Like, yes, it's lightweight. Yes, it's breathable. But is it better? Is it more durable? No. Is the main reason for them moving in this direction because of any of the marketing terms or keywords? No. Those are things that shoot out in your mind when they're marketing the shoe, and you're like, oh, I want a 9 something ounce sneaker. I think that'll be awesome. But what it really is that for them to make this or for them to make this, they're cutting costs in half. That's a generalized explanation of things. But essentially, this shoe right here has got a ton of components. The way that the shoe is made is weird. So like you've got just the outsole alone is in two pieces. You got forefoot and heel. So technically the outsole is decoupled, not the midsole. The midsole is a beast in and of itself. Like this thing is where a lot of the money is coming from, or a lot of the budget is going towards. And so what we've got here though are two separate molds just to make this part.
You don't think it's just one tray with like
it could be
two?
It could be, but either way, that's a lot of money if they are. And they need to make molds for every little piece that's on here. So the eyelet panel, or the eyelet, whatever these are called, like they're not grommets, they're like plastic, but they got to make molds for those.
Yes.
They've got to make molds for the little plastic chrome heel counter. They got to make a mold for this little plastic wrap thingy. There is carbon fiber in there, which is a really weirdly shaped carbon fiber unit. You know what I mean? Like it's a big ass spring plate. So we've got lots of money just invested into tooling molds. We've got the outsole tooling molds. We've got even this little thing right here, money. You know what I'm saying? And then we've got all the extra little accessories that they've got to make, like the tongue patch. These actually were convertibles. So I really thought that this was a dope ass feature, but this is a full on inner sleeve gusseted booty tongue. So the tongue itself is a mesh build or a textile, which is then attached to this, I don't even know what to call this. It's not spandex, but it's fairly stretchy. And then you can roll it down and there's another patch in there. So again, money. And then if you really didn't want that look, you just tuck it in and boom, you got a clean low top. These have a basic insole, so that's not a lot of money. Then we have the tech components, and each of those costs a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit. So we've got a 4-foot zoom unit, just a regular standard size, what you would find in an Air Jordan 13. That's in the 4-foot here. Now the heel is really weird because it's a blow molded air sole unit and it's encapsulated but visible. That's money. Not the unit itself, but what they did to it. Having it encapsulated in polyurethane, which you can see peeking through the outsole here, is for one, weird, and two, uncommon. And then on top of that, they had to wrap that in this. And then you have the same thing in the 4-foot where it's like a foam midsole, not polyurethane though, so another different cost. And then it's wrapped within the upper itself. So it's a double lasted midsole in the 4-foot. I don't even know what to call the heel. Like, I don't know what that is considered, but like this is double lasted. This is fairly exposed. In this era of footwear, that was fairly common to have a portion of the shoe double lasted and a portion of the shoe not. So that's 2 times that you got to put the last inside the shoe. The last is the foot shape. Then you have to wrap the 4-foot around it and attach it. And then you got to take it off and put it on a different one so that you can then wrap the rest of this. And that's before you even put the outsole or the carbon in there and all of this stuff. And we're not even talking about the upper. The upper is multiple panels. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got at least 6 panels that I could see. And you got to stitch all of that. And that's, again, a big cost. That's where those New Balances and all of these new textiles, they don't have that. They don't have somebody having to sit there and literally mark out where all of these things are supposed to be mapped out on the shoe and then go to the sewing machine and hand sew it. And if you f it up, you got to start over. So the industry changed and Nike and all these other brands saw that, you know what I mean? But it takes a while. It takes about a decade for something to get started and then for it to be refined. And so that's just kind of where we're at right now. So when you bring something like this to the table, this is why we don't get certain shoes, like a 21.
Yeah, no, watching you literally one by one, everything, I was like, oh, there's a lot of room for human error.
That's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And that costs you money.
Yeah.
Because if there is human error, you just wasted materials and you wasted some resources. Then you also wasted time. Time is money, especially in a factory. That is, in a nutshell, in layman's terms, very simply laid out there why shoes are the way they are today. I've been explaining this for 15 years. Like, I've been in every single headquarters except for New Balance, and that's how they all work, bro. So yeah, so that's just kind of what it is. I understand being upset because $300 is a lot. At the same time, like, I also don't care because, like, we just came out of the whole reselling and we're not even out of it yet. You know what I mean? We're so many people, and I know that it's not every sneakerhead, but so many of them were spending $300 minimum on something. And a lot of them still think that that's a good deal. And so I'm just kind of like, look, man, you can't like complain about $300 sometimes, but then be cool with it other times just because like that product's hotter. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody can get a pair of Travis Scotts right now for $300, would you say no?
I don't want.
Well, I know that you probably wouldn't care, but I'm asking you then, like, if you can find a pair of Travis Scott's, highs, lows, whatever it is that you want for $300 right now, are you paying it or are you going to complain about it? You're paying it. So that's what I'm saying. That's the analogy where it's just like, oh, okay. So, you know, like, you can't be cool with it sometimes and not be cool with it other times. Like, it's just is the way that it is, and you can either take it or leave it. Will the shoe still go on sale? Probably. That's what happens. You get stuck with something, you got to move it. Now, before we move on to our next topic, we do have a quick word from our sponsor, and that is the good folks over at Move. If you're in the market for a new insole or orthotic, then we'd recommend checking out the products from today's sponsor, Move. Move offers 3 different insole options. The Game Day is perfect for those with a normal or neutral arch that want a little extra support underfoot, along with a little extra cushioning. The Game Day Pro is for those that have a high arch and or those that prefer a more substantial torsion system within their footwear. This is the insole that we'd recommend if you're a taller athlete or a professional athlete. The Move All Day is a polyurethane based insole that features a neutral arch plate, perfect for everyday wear. The polyurethane offers a bit of extra bounce with each step and can transform the comfort level of your daily retro sneakers up a few notches. If you are interested in checking out any of the insoles Move has to offer, then you can head over to www.move.one and check out all the items that are available. All right, guys, so now it's time for the shoes that we didn't review. This is a shoe that we did review. We just didn't review this colorway. Actually, I don't remember what these are called. I think it's called Toxic.
It's not like hydro dipping.
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's Toxic, but I could be wrong. But either way, this is the box. The box is dope as I love it. They come with extra laces that are neon. They came in a little bag like this, so this must be how they come. Puma sent these over, so big thank you to Puma. These shoes, the LaMelo Ball shoes, like the first one we reviewed like multiple colorways.
So many.
I know, but that's because like the interest was so high. Like, everybody was like, ooh, a Rick and Morty or a Galaxy or whatever.
Right.
And so we did those, and then we did that I think with the second one, and the views just went like, you know what I mean? And so like I was like, we're just gonna review one. It's kind of like what we do with like main signatures. Like, I don't review like every colorway of the KD. And so that's where we're at now with the LaMelo line. When it was first new, it was kind of like the hot topic.
Right.
And now it's no longer the hot topic. It's just a topic for a day. But this is the new colorway. I think they're really cool. It's a wild look. It's all kinds of 80s and early 90s neon awesomeness. So yeah, I can't go wrong there. It's just really cool. I like the shoe a lot. It's a good on-court shoe too. All 3 of them have been. So yeah, do you have any thoughts about it? I know that, you know, you joke that it's your costume.
I know. I think I said that before we started.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, it's very much my Halloween costume. I'm an 80s, 90s workout Barbie. So
Workout Barbie?
Well, I don't know. I'm making my own Barbie up. I didn't like pick a Barbie to be, but yes, she looks like, or I look like a workout Barbie.
Works for me.
So.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
No.
I'm trying to talk him into being my Ken. All he needs is a black shirt, which we have, black pants, which we have, and then we have yellow spray dye that we used on our son's costume last year, so it'd be so perfect.
But it won't be.
You can have that Kenergy.
No.
Please, I'll just play the song behind you.
Not happening.
I don't know if it's because of this colorway as well, but the midsole is very SpongeBob-esque.
Oh, I think it is the color, like the barnacle kind of coral look.
Yeah, I don't recall these like flower things jumping out at me in the other colorway we had.
Yeah, and they are there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not like a new mold or anything. Talk about expensive. Like to make another midsole mold just for a colorway, like that should be hella expensive.
Yeah, I guess what they did with the LeBron 20, those were like wraps probably on the midsoles, yes? Because they had
The
different
paisley.
prints.
Yeah, that's just a
was
color.
a wrap.
I don't know if it's a wrap, but like you could do that with like stenciling
Okay.
and the digital aspect of things. Like it can just, and it's done
Okay.
like a printer.
Yeah.
The way that shoes work is just really cool. Like this upper, like you would think that this is expensive because of all the color swirls that are knitted into it or woven into it, because it's like a jacquard type of upper, which is a really tight, finely knit or finely woven material. But it's still a machine doing it. You just program it, you let it run, and it just does however big and long that it can make. You know what I mean? And like, yes, okay, that's it. That's what she said. You couldn't help yourself there.
I didn't do anything.
You did. Your eyes did a whole thing, and like you just looked at me, and
You
so
did something earlier too, and I kept it in, so go me.
that's another one. So yeah, so something like this is just very, very much affordable in comparison. Come on, get your mind out the gutter. What's wrong with you? Got a job to do.
I know, I'm sorry.
Got a podcast to talk about or talk through. Anyways, this is the LaMelo Ball 3 Toxic, I think.
It doesn't say it on the box.
They never do. They only just say like the colors.
It does say toxic.
Does it?
Do.
Well, me.
Time out.
Speaking of toxic, welcome to Wear Testers Timeout, where we just take a break from all things shoes and basketball and all that kind of other shit. And we talk about what started our passions in life, which would be the things that we grew up with first, our first loves, if you will. And for me, that is action figures, cartoons, comics, all that kind of good stuff. So my first new pickup was one that was on accident. I really do try not to buy pops. Once you pop, you can't stop. It's like a weird thing, I know, but it's true. However, I saw this fool over at Target. I don't know if you've ever watched Toxic Avenger. I know that a lot of you guys know Toxic Crusader, which is from the cartoon series, the kid version of this.
Okay.
But the Toxic Avenger was before all that, and it was by Troma. Troma is I don't know if they're considered independent anymore, but like they're just a really small, or at least they used to be independent film company, production company. And they would make the nastiest, I don't want to say horror, but that's really their genre. And it would be like practical effects and stuff like that. So that's what the original Toxic Avenger movie was about. I got introduced as a kid to Toxie through Toxic Crusader, the cartoon. So that's where I fell in love with the character. And then I found out later on when I was a teen that there was a movie. And I was like, oh snap, I want to watch this movie. And it was on TV, so I watched it. And it was insane. It was disgusting and very violent and all that. I was like, this is what they made a cartoon out of? Like it was nuts.
This is giving me flashbacks to...
Deadpool?
No.
Spawn?
Yes. So my best friend watched our kids when we were away in Portland, and our son has seen the movie Spawn, and
Yes.
he talked. My best friend, who's like, whatever we want to do, let's
She
do
doesn't.
it.
Yeah, she doesn't know
And
anything
so
about
was
the
it
nerd
the
world.
cartoon?
The HBO cartoon.
He talked her into, let's watch the cartoon. And so she's like, okay, puts it on. She's talking to her boyfriend, who is also a nerd. And he's just like, you're letting him watch what?
Right.
And so she's just like, back this truck up.
Well, who texted us?
L-
Was it Laura?
both of them, I think. It was like Laura's version and Eric's version.
Well, because
of-
Eric was excited. He was like, I'm about to watch Spawn. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, we were like
Have fun.
literally at Aaron Cooper's house during all
that's
of
right.
this.
That's right. Yeah. And so we were both like, oh, have fun. Like, that's going to be cool. And then I was like, which Spawn? And then he said the cartoon, and I said, no, you can't watch that.
Yeah, and
one.
at the same time, Laura's boyfriend's like, no, like, you should not.
Yeah, so it was a long distance simultaneous block of the animated Spawn series, which again debuted on HBO back in the day, and it was just like this, extremely violent, very gory and graphic, nudity, all that stuff. Either way, I saw this figure, and I mean, look how cute he is, man. I can't pass this guy up. He's awesome. Now, there was many other pickups, but I try to keep the timeout segment kind of short because I know that not a lot of I think there's more than are willing to admit that they're like, oh yeah, I'm still into this stuff.
I love reading the comments because people comment on everything, and
that's why we do the podcast the way we do, because I know that your podcast that you listen to and other podcasts that I've seen are very one topic. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's cool for what they are, because like the ones that you do listen to, like My Favorite Murder and all that stuff, like they make the one topic fun. And I'm sure that we could do that too. But I like jumping around because I have so many different interests. So I like going from shoes to shoes we didn't talk about, but maybe we wanted to, you know what I mean? And then from that to toys, because I love the nerd stuff. Like it literally is my first love. Like before basketball, before shoes, all that stuff, it was all about comics and action figures and cartoons, man. It's just really what it was. I like the way that we're going from that to this, to that to this. And then at the end, it's a fun story, or hopefully. Oh, screwed. So yeah, so like we don't know, you know what I mean? But I like to keep things like, keep you on your toes a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And that helps, I feel like, with engagement and retention time and all that stuff. And then if we're chaptering it out, you can just skip to whatever you want and talk about whatever you want. So I got a lot of pickups, but the Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi show from Disney Plus, not the best thing that Star Wars has ever done, but when we talk about visuals and the action figures that come out of them, this is cool, man. Darth Vader with his helmet just gashed open, showing Anakin on the inside. Not just Anakin, but Hayden Christensen Anakin. It's awesome. So yeah, what I really want to do with this is I wish I bought two. This one I'll probably keep in the box, but if I ever run into it again, I'll probably buy another one. And I have the Ahsoka figure, and that's the battle that I've just where she did it to the other side of his face, so like she gashed open his right side instead of his left, which is weird that he keeps getting hit in the head. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just
it's weird that you remember that detail.
Why? It was awesome. That was one of the greatest Vader battles ever, was him and Ahsoka, the Master versus the Apprentice, the first round. Although Obi-Wan versus Anakin / Darth Vader in episode 3 was the first Apprentice versus Master thing. But then his battle with Ahsoka in Star Wars Rebels is so, even today, even if I just watch it by itself on YouTube as a clip, almost makes me cry every time. We haven't gotten there yet with our recap of Rebels.
Got it.
So yeah, but when we get there, just don't look at me.
Okay.
It's like that. Like, yeah, like I really love that story. But anyways, that's what I was bummed about. This is like, when this happened, like, for one, it was a reference to the Rebels thing. Two, I was hoping to get hit in the nostalgic nuts again.
Oh.
And it didn't happen. Like, I thought it was cool, but it wasn't like as impactful as maybe it should have been. You know what I mean? Like, not even when you go back to episode 3 and he's like, you were my brother, Anakin. Like, even that stuff didn't make me get emotional, you know? How a cartoon did it, I don't know. But like, that relationship between Ahsoka and Anakin is just something special, I guess. But anyways, I got this figure. I think it looks badass. I love that you can see his face back there. This was always the thing, like when you're watching Star Wars, the original ones, and you didn't see the mask come off till the very end. Literally, he dies, and that's like when you see his face, and you're like, damn, he is up under there. That's the thing. Like, Cobra Commander was one of those guys where I was like, what does he look like? Snake Eyes, what does he look like? So yeah, like we found out what Cobra Commander looks like, and if you read the comics, you find out what Snake Eyes looks like. But yeah, I just really like the helmet thing and the reveal. It kind of reminds me of early days of YouTube, when it would just be the chest and the hands and the shoes, and then people were like, show your face.
He didn't want to, folks.
No, I didn't. I wanted to keep it just about the shoes. But yeah, that was my my recent pickups and all of that stuff. Actually, if I wanted to show one more as a bonus, I got this a while ago, but this is the 3-inch version, so like more of the regular scale or original scale. But yeah, this one
with the old man, right?
Well, that's the thing, is that his face sculpt in the figure looks more like Anakin, but clearly this is from the end of Return of the Jedi. So like, I don't know if you want to look, but right, like doesn't look like him.
Yeah, he's not like chunky looking. He's slim.
He looks young.
Yeah. Well, no, I just mean like in the movie, he's like chunky.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's like a slim.
It just looks like
his face doesn't look like it's resting on the helmet.
Yeah, it just looks like Hayden Christensen to me. I don't know if that was what it was supposed to be, but either way, this is a cool ass figure too. Like, his hands cut off and Like I love this man.
Speaking of Hayden Christensen, I just wanted to give a movie that people should go and watch.
Life as a House.
So good.
It is.
I've been wanting to rewatch it for some time, but I know it's kind of like it's a sad movie.
It's a very
it's a
emotional
roller coaster ride, but he was like an it boy. Like, I don't think it boy is a term like it girls, but he was like the guy for
2 seconds.
And
Star Wars catapulted and killed
I know
his acting
so but
career.
like that one is like 5 stars.
And I wouldn't even say Star Wars, it was Star Wars fans.
Yes. So that's the nice thing. I've been very happy seeing people embrace him again.
That new generation. That's where with sneakers, like, that's what brands need to do. You know what I mean? Like right now there's a whole new wave of New Balance people. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that brand's been around since like, I always forget. It's like 75 years, almost 100 years. Maybe
I thought it was 100
Maybe
years.
it's over 100 years at this point. So like, I know that Puma's been around for about the same amount of time. Same thing with Adidas. But like, to be able to have, kind of like Ninja Turtles, like multi-generational groups of fans, that's what Nike is missing right now. Their current generation
Nike or New Balance?
That's what Nike's missing.
Okay.
Is being able to tap into multi-generations, because that's what we've talked about with like Jordan heads and Nike heads currently, like brand new ones. Some of them are genuine and they're like genuinely interested in the history, the product, the players, the performance aspects, all that stuff. But a lot of them only are into this or got into this for resale. And once that aspect's gone, so are they. They're on to the next trend. And so did you just fumble the bag, cultivating the new generation to like your
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes. And we're watching you scramble and it's hilarious.
I would just like to say that because of my age at the time, Hayden Christensen was why I started watching Star Wars.
So did you watch Life as a House first?
No, I want to say I had seen because I just looked it up because I had to remember. I was like, what is it? It's something house. I was thinking Glass House, but it's not. It's Life as a House. And it came out in 2001. And again, it was one of those DVDs that I bought for myself when I first bought a DVD player. And so I want to say I saw episode 2 first. And then because he was in that, I grabbed that movie.
Were you surprised that I knew what Life as a House is?
No. You and I have watched it together. We own it.
We do?
Well, I own it. So, yeah, it's in our DVD collection.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'd seen it before me and you got together.
Okay.
Though.
Well, we've definitely watched it together.
Okay. But, yeah, it's a good movie. Not his, what was the one where he was like a...
Jumper.
Oh, yeah. Where he was like a Nightcrawler kind of character.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't as cool. I mean, it was kind of cool, but not as cool.
I think, didn't he marry that chick? Or they were together?
Oh, I think they have a kid together.
Yeah, so.
I'm not I don't care about celebrities like that.
I know.
Or I don't care about their lives. You know? Like I don't not care about them. Like I don't want somebody to like just like go and die or anything.
Yeah.
But like I'm not like I need to know about you. Like I'm not like that. I'm just like, you live your life, bro. Have fun.
That's good. That's healthy.
I know. It's sick how people are with people. It's so weird. So now it's time for Jody's Corner. What did we learn today? And I'm a little nervous actually about what it is that you're about to talk about.
You shouldn't be nervous. I did give you a warning that I was going to try and keep it in the Halloween.
And this is the last one. Thank goodness.
Well, I can't help what piques my interest. Today's topic is brought to you by my For You page on Instagram. Basically,
what is a For You page?
Like, you know, when like you go to the
magnifying glass?
And you just scroll.
It's called the For You page?
I call it the For You page. It's cultivated for me. It's trying to keep me on there. And
well, that page shows me lots of weird things, so that's up. And I just look at shoes and toys.
Well, my For You page knows that I like history facts and that I have a weird fascination with Sarah Paulson. Do you remember who she is? She plays Ellis Gray in flashbacks of Grey's Anatomy. She was also the nurse in that Nurse Ratched show that I made you watch. She was like back in the 50s. And
is that the one where they like were boiling ladies?
Yeah, and like and they were doing the lobotomies.
Ugh. She was the main lady?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
So I love her, but I'm also very scared of everything she's in. So I can't like watch things Like,
you get scared?
I do. I get scared. I don't like scary movies. I just like people
like
telling
scary
me
stories?
things. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be attacked or anything. So anyways, my Instagram showed me this thing where it was a side by side of Sarah Paulson and like a history picture, and it was explaining that because she's a big on American Horror Story.
Is that a show?
Yes. Okay. Again, we don't watch scary things, but I know of them. And basically, she had deep dived into this other lady, this historical figure, so that she could learn how to be for this character that she had.
She was researching the role.
Yes. Her character was based on a female journalist who posed as an insane person to show how cruel mental institutions were back in 1887. So, today, I'm going to teach you about Elizabeth Jane Cochran, aka Nellie Bly, aka Nellie Brown, one of the world's first, if not the first, female stunt reporter.
What is it? A stunt reporter?
Yes.
Is that a thing? I've never heard of that.
So basically, it's where, as a journalist, like you go into the field and you're like the person that you're learning about. You don't just interview them, you become so you can learn about what these people are going through. So you can like get behind the scenes and like.
Do the people that you're doing the reporting on know this? They know that you're a reporter, or?
No.
So you're like undercover?
Yes. So, and she was a female doing this. And so she was like the first of her kind doing that.
So she's an undercover reporter where she's going to check herself into a mental institute, but nobody knows that she's not actually crazy and that she's a reporter? This is going to be
So the reason why I listed off 3 names is because back then women didn't use their real names in the paper when they were writing.
Really?
They had to use like pen names.
like a stage name?
Yeah. So
That's weird.
her real name is Elizabeth, but in the paper she goes by Nellie Bly.
Do they know that the writer with the stage name is a female?
Yes, because originally, and I didn't write this down, but originally she wasn't even going by Nellie Bly. She was going by like, you know those columns where you like write in and it's like Ask Annie
Or like
something.
Dear John?
Yeah, so it was something like that. Hers was like Orphan something.
Okay.
But when she gets herself checked into the mental institution, she is then Nellie Brown.
Okay.
Just in case like the people knew who Nellie Bly was. It was a way to, again,
like
keep
the
herself.
writer?
Yes. So she's born in Pennsylvania in 1864. At the age of 20 or 21 in 1885, she started working at a paper called the Pittsburgh Dispatch, all because she responded to an article that was written. She writes in a letter to this article that claims women are only made for birthing children and keeping house. And she didn't like the sound of that. So she writes this letter. The editor is so impressed that he puts out a thing in the paper saying, hey, can you please come in here? I would love to talk to you. And so she goes in, she's like, I'm the person who wrote you that. And he's
That's cool.
So impressed with her that he offers her a spot on the paper right there to write her first article. She writes about how not all women would end up marrying, and what we really need is to make better jobs available for women. She then went on to write follow-up articles about what it was like for women to get divorced in that time and like what their lives are like, and how the laws need to be changed because, again, things aren't fair for women. Like, when it's not fair for a very long time, it's still not fair.
I would say when it comes to divorce in California, things have changed quite a bit.
Yes, but
I will say it's not exactly fair for the guy either.
We're in Pennsylvania right now in the late 1800s, though.
I'm just saying, there's always a caveat.
Yes.
That's all.
So then
There's 2 sides to every coin.
She then dives into what it's like for women factory workers. And so again, she's now like doing undercover. She's like in the factories with them. As you can imagine, these types of articles, the factory owners don't like. And people who are paying good money to have ads in the papers, they're not liking what they're seeing. So the editor goes to her and is like, I gotta pull you back here. You're gonna write stuff about fashion and gardening and society, who's marrying who. And she's just like, what? Like, you liked how I spoke.
She got Lois Lane.
Yes, This makes her very unsatisfied and she starts looking around for other work. Here's where I'm going to fast forward a little bit. She does do some cool stuff down in Mexico. You guys can go look that up if you want to, but we're going to fast forward past that so we can get to the main story here. And she heads up to New York City in 1887, so 2 years later, where she's basically being turned down by everybody because nobody wants to hire a woman for their newspapers. She ends up at the paper called New York World. It was owned by, I can't remember his first name, something Pulitzer. So like the guy who does the Pulitzer Award.
Prize?
Yeah, Pulitzer Prize. Huh. Yeah, this is his paper.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either until I was looking
this
stuff up. So she ends up at New York World with next to no money, and they're like, fine, we'll give you an assignment, but you're gonna have to go undercover and you will be an insane person at the Women's Lunatic Asylum on Blackwell's Island, which
That was
is
the name of the place?
yeah, which is now named Roosevelt Island.
It's a little on the nose there.
Women's Lunatic Asylum.
Just could you imagine calling somebody a lunatic like today? With all the sensitive, like, PC type, you know what I mean? Like, everything, like, it's just, I just find that to be funny.
I know. I did get a little worried while I was writing some of this stuff up because I've learned, like, certain words aren't okay anymore. But I'm like, but these are the words they're using. So
It's kind of like the prefacing of, like, certain Disney movies where it's just like, this is not how society is now.
Yeah.
But historically, this is where they were at the time, so.
Yeah. So now when I say she would go undercover for things, she went undercover. So what she does is she starts out by trying to get the right look. So she stops sleeping at night so she can get like that panicky, big eyes, oh my gosh, she's very disturbed looking. And she goes and checks herself into a boarding house so that way she'll be surrounded by people who can see her start to act up, witness her insanity, so to speak. She then starts accusing other boarders of stealing her luggage that she's brought there. But then she can't remember even if she brought luggage and trunks. And then she also starts claiming that all the other boarders are crazy and insane. Within 24 hours of her getting into this place, the
boarding house?
Yes, the other boarders.
That all happened in 24 hours?
Well, like she worked for a couple days on getting her look down, but yes, like she goes and checks herself in. It's like, I need
That's
a
what I mean.
home.
It sounds like she went crazy once she got into the boarding house.
Well, that was her plan, is she's trying to get people to be like, we need to call the cops.
So she's faking it?
She's faking it.
Okay.
And the boarders are so bothered by her that they call the cops.
She's so believable already.
Oh, the thing is, I will have pictures. Obviously, you haven't seen them. She's a pretty lady. So she's like working really hard here to make herself distressed looking. So after barely a day of the weirdness, the other boarders are so bothered that they call the cops on her. And the cops take her off to the local courthouse. A police officer, a judge, and several doctors all examine her. And they're like, she's going to the island. Like, this lady is insane. She cannot be around people. So that's what she wants. She wants to get into this insane asylum. That's her assignment. So once on the island, she drops the facade. She goes back to normal completely. She's like, I'm in here. Now I'm just going to start taking my notes.
She's just trying to observe at this
yes.
point. Okay.
Yeah. So this is where things gets weird, and she's quoted as saying, "From the moment I entered the insane ward on the island, I made no attempt to keep up the assumed role of insanity. I talked and acted just as I do in normal life. Yet, strange to say, the more sanely I talked and acted, the crazier I was thought to be by all except for one physician, whose kindness and gentle ways I shall not soon forget. She spends 10 days in this facility, where she witnesses the horrible conditions for the patients being neglected and abused. The nurses would yell at the patients to shut up, and if they didn't, they would beat them. Let's go over their food, which is like a staple. Their food consists of pretty much undrinkable water, and their main food is gruel broth with spoiled meat and bread that was basically uncooked hard dough. And while they're eating, they are surrounded by trash and waste, which I'm assuming is human and rats. They would then tie the dangerous patients with ropes to each other. The patients would be stuck. They would be marched into a room, and from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., they had to sit on these hard, rigid back Think of like if you've ever been in like a Catholic church, the pews where
You're
they're
talking
not.
about this chair that I'm
No,
sitting
these
in?
chairs are great. I can
They're not.
sprawl out. It's fantastic. Anyways, they're all having to be lined up on these benches, and from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., they have to sit there. They can't move. They can't talk. They're not given anything. Like they can't read or do any kind of knitting, anything. Like even in jail, they give you assignments to do or
Well, I
something.
mean, during certain times maybe, but
So, but I
otherwise
mean-
you're just sitting in a cell.
But you can move. You
That
can
part's
stretch
weird.
out.
Yeah.
This you were not allowed to. And again, if you're making noise, like you get beat. She did say, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, what perfectly sane person wouldn't be crazy
After
after
that.
days and weeks and months
Well,
of.
that's what I thought this is going. So I'm surprised that it was only 10 days.
Yeah. Well, she had a plan. She's just like, hey, to my friends, like, come get me.
Oh, people knew that she was in there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, also the newspaper knew she was going in there.
That's
so
true.
yeah, she had an escape plan.
Okay.
I'm just surprised that they didn't be like, no, actually,
Well, that's what I thought this was. That's where I thought this was going.
yeah, no.
So where's the Halloween part?
I don't know. All of this sucks. You're in an insane asylum.
Hey, what's that got to do with Halloween?
I just was a little creepy. Some of these patients were mentally ill. Some were there because they had physical disabilities. And some of them were just dumped by their families because their families didn't want to deal with them and somehow like had them checked in. Think of like husbands who don't want to deal with their wives, or
You could do that?
if you could get somebody like we just used a clip from Beauty and the Beast, and remember
yeah,
they
yeah.
take the father off because they're like, yeah, he's crazy. So the patients as a whole were treated more like criminals than women who actually needed care. She also noted that many of the patients were just as sane as herself. Like she's
Really?
just like, you shouldn't be in here either.
Yeah.
The craziest story I read was about their baths. So basically what they would do is they would take a bunch of women and line them up, and they would be put one by one into a bathtub with freezing cold water. They wouldn't change out the bath water. And then they were just taken buckets that are dumped on them.
Sounds like my bath time. As a child.
He had a traumatizing event.
Oh, I did.
And then they would get like scrubbed down using like the same washcloths, and then they would be taken out, and they would all have to use the same exact towel to be dried off. Even like the women who had sores and
That's
skin
nasty.
problems, boils, infections, like they're all using the same stuff. If they did get new bath water, they didn't scrub the tub. So it's just all getting mixed in.
Aren't humans great?
After 10 days, like I said, her friends come in and they get her released, and the rest is pretty much history. She
What
goes,
happened to the place though? Like after the article goes
Yeah.
down, like what happens?
so she goes back to New York World and writes this amazing 2-part article, the first part dropping October 10th of 1887, and it's all anybody can talk about. So much
it
so,
goes viral?
so much so that when the second part drops, like
People
people
were
can't
ready?
get there fast enough
That's
to get their
crazy.
articles.
This was in a newspaper?
Yes, New York World. This leads to her getting a permanent position at the paper. They're like, yeah, and then she gets a book deal out of it.
I wonder. What year were you talking? You're talking about 18 something?
1887 is when it's published.
So 1938 is when Superman comes out.
Do you think Lois Lane is based off of her?
I don't know if it's
Or that
based.
style of journalism? Because
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to
I
talk
don't know
about.
if it's based off of her exactly, but all I think of when you talk about her is Lois Lane.
So the book that she releases is titled 10 Days in a Madhouse. And that's where I was able to get like the excerpts about the bath specifically. But a lot of positive things happen thanks to this investigation she did. The inpatient treatment at the asylum had to be reworked. Patients were to be given better medical attendance, better nurses, better food, and better bathing and other facilities. And then the whole place gets shut down within 7 years.
That's crazy. Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel said his wife, the late Joanne Siegel, who was the main inspiration for Lois Lane, but it has been long accepted that there were other women who provided Siegel with some inspiration for Superman's feisty girlfriend. This other one says, like, is Lois Lane based on a real person? And it says that their physical appearance was originally based on Joanne Carter, a a model hired by Joe Shuster, but Jerry Siegel was inspired by actress Glenda Farrell's portrayal of the fictional reporter Torchy Blaine in a series of films. I wonder if, like, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the thing is,
if it would go back to her. Well, that's the thing. So she spawned a whole new take on journalism for women specifically. The term stunt girl is used a lot when describing her type of journalism. Some people would call it gimmicky, like, why do you have to go undercover? Like, why can't you just
Well, because nobody's going to tell you the truth.
No, I know, but you were asking that in the beginning, like, why?
I just found it weird that journalists go undercover.
But it was a way for women to enter the work field, and it showed that they could get stuff done. And she did. So she was used as an example for what other ladies could do.
It reminds me of what we just went through with that. We just did a tour of Sacramento, or the underground of Sacramento, and there was this lady who dressed up like in the period, and
she was great.
Yeah, she was like talking about like everything that went down and this, that, and the other, and how there was like this murder, and this was, the stories that she was telling were factual. One of the ladies who worked at the brothel, was she the one that was, I can't remember if she was the one that was in charge of the brothel or she was just a brothel worker, but either way, she killed somebody and she got put on trial, and then she goes in front of the judge and was just like, I'm just a woman, I can't kill anybody. And they were like,
she was the one who stole the horse, and then she got in a fight with the girl who helped because they wanted the same man, and so she shot and killed her best friend.
I couldn't remember all the details. I just know that when she got in front of the judge, she was like, I'm a girl, I couldn't have possibly have done that. And the judge was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, what?
But then she went to like New York or something.
I think she went to San Francisco, and then she did it again.
And they were just like, eh.
Right.
And she went to San Quentin? Or was it?
It was San Quentin. She went to like a high level security.
Or was it Alcatraz?
No,
it was San
Quentin. I would have remembered
Okay.
Alcatraz.
She was like one of the first women to go into San Quentin. As a side note, another cool thing that she did was she challenged the fictional book Around the World in 80 Days. With just 2 days to plan, she gets on this steamer. She sets a world record traveling the whole world, 24,898 miles.
What's a steamer? Is that a boat?
It's, yes.
Okay.
An SS something. But she does it in 72 days. And to keep people interested in what she's doing, because again, this is for the paper, but she's traveling the whole time and papers come out constantly, they set up bets for like, when will she come back into town? And there was a grand prize, and then there was like a second place prize.
They should have done that for Amelia Earhart.
And then maybe she wouldn't be gone.
No, I'm just saying that hell of people would have lost money.
Oh, I know.
Unless you betted that she wouldn't come back.
Yeah, that's true. But she held this world record for only a couple months, because then this guy, George Francis Train, did it in 67 days.
In a steamboat?
I think it was just you had to do it. So.
Well, that's not accurate then.
Well, you still had to travel, and again, we're in the late 1800s, so it's not like all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to get in a jet plane.
I just feel like if you're holding a race, you got to have the same rules.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Like, it's got to be even.
But so she held the world record for a little bit, and then this guy went and nabbed it from her. So anyways, I just thought, like, insane asylums, especially back then, like, they give off a creepy vibe.
I mean, I guess. That just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, so I'm cool with that. It was very interesting.
Okay.
And I'm really just curious, like, now where did Lois Lane come from now that this lady... Because she seems like a pioneer in like
she very much
female
was.
reporting in general, not even considering the investigative side of things. And so her being like so brash in the beginning, which is how she got the job, I think that's very fascinating.
But with that being said...
Oh yeah, sorry, you got to end things. Yeah, we're hungry. We're trying to get out of here.
We're trying not to have my alarm for picking up our kid go off in the middle of this.
Right. So, but that pretty much takes care of it for episode 8, right?
8.
Okay.
7 was last week.
I know how numbers work.
We did 6. We took a break. Then we did 7.
I think
and now
that's
we're
what it
at
was.
8.
The break is kind of messing me up where I'm just like, did we though?
Yeah.
But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in and all that stuff. Let us know what you think about any of the topics that we discussed, whether it's the story or the timeout section with the toys and, Vader and Ahsoka and all that stuff, or just the cost breakdown, or not necessarily the breakdown, but the reasoning for, footwear being at times as expensive as it can be retail wise, when we're talking about a bring back or a retro, something that was so intricate and things like that, there's always a reason for something. So, and I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody. It's just literally factual. So if you were interested in knowing why, then that would be why. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Let us know what you think. And thank you again to Move for sponsoring the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. If you were interested in checking out their insoles, make sure that you check the link down below if you're watching on YouTube. I don't know how it works otherwise.
Just go
to the website.
It was move.io? No, that was their old. Move.one.
It is move.one. Yeah, so you can go to move.one, kind of a weird URL.
I know. Is that like the new one? Like how it used to be like .com, and then there's .org, and then there was .something that I never hear of anymore. It's like .one, the new one?
I think .one is an option, but like you want .com.
Because that's what people know.
Well, it's just that's the first thing that the internet recognizes. Everything is a .com. And then we're talking about a different topic at this point.
Today I learned.
Yeah, so like when we're talking about websites and domains and stuff, like those are like digital currency.
Yes,
essentially.
they are.
Like you can like think of one, see if it's available, buy it. You want the .com version of it because that's the most valuable, because it's the most recognized by Google and search engines and yada, yada, yada. So you can do like move.one or move.co or move.jp or whatever and all of this stuff, and it could work, but it's really hard for Google to recognize all your stuff because it prioritizes the .coms. So if you have a great website name like Sneaker News and sneakers are popping, you want to make sure that it's sneakernews.com. And if you own that, you can go and check like a domain calculator and just kind of see like the rough estimate on what a domain like that is worth. That is exactly why nerds in the online world collect essentially domain names as currency and trade bait. Fun fact, right at the end. Good old podcast. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have like a slick thing to say. But anyways, I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed just hanging out with us, and we will catch you guys on the next one. So until then,
Bye.
have a good one.